Okay, hello and welcome to the demo video of the beta iteration for the Dog Finder project. The Dog Finder project was completed by Cooper Jones, me, as well as Chris Hall, Ted Parsons, Samuel Walton, and Torbir Dhawali. Even if you've seen the alpha iteration video, I guess I'll go ahead and go through the basics of the website and then really hit on what's been added since that, what we've accomplished in our beta iteration. So with our Dog Finder web app, the primary purpose is to not only provide information on different breeds of dogs, it's first and foremost to, through a questionnaire, kind of a personality quiz, determine what would be a good dog for somebody. So first I'm going to take you through the pages and then run you through a little narrative. So if we look at our tabs up here, we've got the breeds page. Now on the breeds page, we've got 100, or sorry, that was the last iteration. We have now 198 total dogs. They're here put in alphabetical order with pictures. One of the new things added to this page that I'll hit on later actually is this sort page, and I'll kind of test that out and show you how that works. Before we just kind of had them all listed in alphabetical order, and now there's an easier way to find them. Another thing you might notice that's different on this page is these dogs used to have a white background, and we got a lot of feedback that it was kind of jarring against these colors we've chosen here. And so one of the things that was done was Ted went through for each individual dog and got rid of the background, so we just have the picture of it there. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a dog, let's say here Alaskan Malamute. I'm going to click on it, and it's going to take me to its own personal profile. And so you've got the name, you've got a group, working dogs, which I'll get to that page and what that means in a second. Its height, its weight, and its lifespan. And if you'll notice here, this page looks very different than the alpha iteration. Before we had this kind of ugly, just straight list of these 25 characteristics with a 1 through 5 number rating. And that was probably one of the biggest complaints, is that it was kind of an overload of information, and it needed to be better organized and better presented. So what we've done here, Ted made this little paw print, and then Chris Hall was the one who moved and rearranged and organized these tables here. And so now it looks a lot cleaner, looks a lot better. And you've still got all the categories that you did before, and they're put into like subcategories, or I guess some bigger categories. Before we just had them all listed. Now we've put them into like friendliness, exercise needs, adaptability, health and grooming, trainability, and each of those contain subcategories within that, instead of just listing the thing. So it's just, we think it's a lot easier to look at and read. So there's an example of a profile page of a dog, and every single dog, they'll have different scores in different categories. Each single dog has unique characteristics to it that will play into the questionnaire that I'll show in just a minute. Next page, we have the dog groups. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 groups. These groups are just one of the groups that we break all the dogs down into, and here if you click the page, I'll show you what that means. So you've got this paragraph description here, like you got a companion dog. You got about 6 or 7 sentences describing exactly what that means, and then you've got a list of every dog that falls under companion. So if we were just picking like a Dalmatian, and you could click that link, and then it's going to take you to the Dalmatian page. Similarly, you could look at terrier dogs. You've got the description here, and then you've got the list of dogs, and it looks like they all end in terrier, as to be expected. And so you can click on one like the Welsh Terrier here, and it brings you to their page. Just a little bit more information and categorization of the dogs So if you find that maybe instead of looking through a long list of dogs, you can look through a long list, or you can look through this list and see what type of dog group you prefer, and then look through a shorter list based on that category. So you're not looking through 198 dogs, you're looking through, I don't know, 60 or 70. Here you have the questionnaire. We had this last time. The only thing we've changed is the font and the a little bit of the layout there. So this is pretty much identical. And then the main thing that I guess I'll demonstrate with the narrative is this actual sorting algorithm and how it picks the dog out. But I want to get to the last page before I do that, which is the glossary page. And this is just a quick description of all the different categories that we have. Ted put this in there and filled it with the information. And so you just look and see if you had a question about what a certain category meant, like wanderlust. You might think that's kind of a vague term. I wonder what that means. So you can go to the glossary, and it says dog scoring high here will need plenty of space to wander around, but should have a close eye kept on. Basically, if you take it to the park, what are the odds that you look away for 30 seconds or 5 seconds, and look back, and he's like half a mile down the road? And so just a little bit more information on those categories. Just want to make sure everyone's very clear on exactly what everything we put in the website means. So let's take the narrative like we did last time. I think we had Bob and Sally use them again. So they're in the they're looking for a dog, and they've heard some good things about different dogs from different people, but they don't really know exactly what they want. They're coming in, maybe they don't have a whole lot of dog experience, and they're really coming in blind here. So they can find our app, and the first thing they can do is they can look at the breeds page. And they can look at this page, and they see all these dogs by alphabetical order. They might recognize some, they might not recognize others, and they can scroll and scroll, and you got, about 14 pages here, 198 in total. And on here they can sort by these different categories. Maybe they're looking for a certain one, novice suitability. They're new dog owners, sort by novice. So what you do is they're going to click novice sortability, and you hit sort. And then once it loads, come on. There we go. Sorry, I don't know why that took so long. It's going to put it in alphabetical order again, and just these are going to be all the dogs in alphabetical order that score a 5 in what did we do again? Companion, or it was novice suitability for good for new dogs. So you think of popular dogs like the Golden Retriever here. Very popular dog, relatively is good for new owners, very friendly. So, they can click on that. And here they can look, and we think it's much easier now for them to, like I said, look at at the stats, and you see all these family-friendly, child-friendly, dog-friendly, stranger-friendly. All right, those look good for Bob and Alice, but they want to keep looking. They want to see more, and they might notice, oh, hey, look, it's part of the sporting dogs group. We seem to like these categories. Sporting dogs seems to be up our alley. Well, let's click sporting dogs. And that's where they can take you to the group page. And then they can learn a little bit more about said sporting dogs. And maybe Golden Retriever wasn't exactly what they were looking for. Well, here we've got options for them to look at, all the other sorting dogs. Say they didn't really want to go with a sorting dog, then go back to their groups page. And say mixed breed, nothing in particular. It's just a mutt. Sorry. Let's do hybrid dogs. And so you've got these different mix of ones. Let's say they still can't make up their mind. There's a lot of information, there's a lot of options, and it's honestly a big decision to get a dog. So they go to our questionnaire. Now, if you remember from the alpha iteration, the questionnaire offered dogs 3 preset dogs that we had because it was not part of our alpha iteration to actually get a sorting algorithm now we have a sorting algorithm in place which, depending on how you answer the questions, actually gives you tailored specific recommendations on which dog breed, and it'll give you 3 recommendations. So we can go through this here. Say they live in an apartment, say they live with their spouse, going out at night, work from home, varying extreme temperatures, none, we said they weren't experienced, say they like a clean house, do you enjoy healthy eating lifestyle? Yeah, let's say they're pretty active. Friendly neighbors, assertive or passive. Okay, so we've gone through, we've put this in, and now we have results. Oh, well, look at that. First place, Coton de Tulier. Second place, you got a Maltese, and in third place, you got a Poodle. So, depending on those specific results that I put in, these are the dogs that have been put out to them. And then if they want to know more on that dog, on a certain dog, this guy's kind of cute, and click on him, and he's got a really high score on a lot of things. So family friendly, dog friendly, stranger friendly, doesn't shed, doesn't drool, is good for an apartment, good for new owners, good for sensitivity, easy to train, he's a smart dog, he's quiet, doesn't hunt things, playfulness. So this looks like a, pretty good dog based on the recommendations that they put in. So that's basically the story there for them, and then they can go and they can get their dog, and hope that this information is helpful to them. The sorting algorithm was done by Chris and Cooper. We got that worked out. The search functionality here was done also by Chris and Cooper. And then there's one more thing I wanted to point out, which was the compare page. Let me go back here. If you click here to compare breeds side by side, this is what Torbir did during this iteration. This allows you to pick 2 different breeds. Let's do a Basset Hound. Let's scroll down here. Let's give us what's a dog people know. St. Bernard, big old guy. You can put in 2 breeds that you might be interested in. Say, Bob and Sally? Alice? I've forgotten their names now. Want to... they're deciding between 2 dogs. Say it's a Basset Hound and a St. Bernard. Or you know what, let's do the ones that were first were recommended to them. So we can go to the Coton de Tulier, and what was the other one? Shoot. I know Poodle was third. And hit compare. And what this will do, bring us to another page, which will compare the 2. And you've got him first here on top, and the other picture of the dog here second. So on the left you have the Coton de Tulier, and on the right you have the Poodle. And it gives you their side-by-side comparison stats. So if Bob and Sally are just trying to decide between a couple dogs, and they aren't exactly sure which ones they want, but they don't want to keep switching between pages or clicking back links and back and forward, it's a lot easier here to look at them. You can tell that these dogs are relatively similar in stats. They seem to be pretty close. Overall health, that's one difference. One I see here got a big difference, and most of them pretty close, and that's because they were like the first and third options based on the question, so they are going to be very similar in their stats because that was kind of the point of the questionnaire. But if you want to do between 2 completely random dogs that have very different stats, let's say whatever this guy is and this guy, and you got the pictures. Look, you can see there's very different, like 1, 3, 2, a lot of different stats here. So those 2 were so similar because the sorting algorithm is supposed to pop out a couple dogs that are very similar. So I believe that is all for this iteration. I believe I covered all the new features. I hope you enjoy the video and the project. And that is all for Dog Finder. Thank you.